Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC 291 Poirier versus Gaethje. We are back, baby. Pay-per-view time again already at 295. Like it just happened, but we had two okay fight nights in between. Now it's time for that pay-per-view, and this is definitely a pay-per-view. Just look at that poster alone. Look at the 4 names on that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we got a fun card to break down here. So many names. I can't wait for this card, and I can't wait for some of these fights. If you know anything about MMA, you cannot wait for this card. Fuck, for the main event alone, let alone what you got under it, but enough rambling about it like that. I am back with a broken heart, but you know, that's for a different story. I am back, ready to break down this card in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is going to play a big factor in a prediction or two of mine, so keep that in mind. So, that high-ass altitude, Leon Edwards style. So, yeah, there's not much more to say besides please like, comment, sub, 100 subs goal by the end of the year. And as always, we got 12 fights to break down. You ready? I know I am. So let's do it. We begin the night with a fight that could be okay, it could be fun, and this was what happening because someone pulled out. I'll talk about who in a minute, but we begin the night with Miranda Fear the Maverick versus Priscila Zombie Girl Cachoeira. This is meant to be Cachoeira versus Joanne Wood, but Joanne Wood pulled out a couple weeks ago, and Miranda Maverick stepped in. So, that's the story behind that. Now let's talk about the Maverick, who I feel like we literally just broke down. Oh yeah, cause we did a month and a half ago. Yeah, Maverick's already back. She is 4-3 in the UFC. Her wins, no one's, like, her best win in the UFC is Joanne Robertson. Jojua sucks, Mazo sucks, and Shauna Young is terrible. Well, actually, I take that back. She is 5-2. She beat Macy Barber also, and that's still not her best one. Macy Barber's a joke. But Maverick's 2 losses are Nurmagomedov and Jasdavicius. To talk about that Jasmine fight, because it literally just happened not that long ago. Terrible performance by Maverick. Like, really bad performance by Maverick. Even if you were picking Jasmine confidently, you did not think Maverick would look that terrible. But she looked awful. She was getting beat on the feet by someone who's not a better striker. And on the ground, she was just getting manhandled. Clear 30-27 for Jasdavicius. And just an overall terrible performance by Miranda Maverick. Like, Maverick's turning into one of those fighters, like I've talked about many times, who just are not consistent with their talent. Maverick's a very good fighter. We've seen it before. The Mazo fight, she looked amazing. Jojua, she looked amazing, but I'll give her a doubt. Against Blanchfield, I don't expect anything. You fought Earn Blanchfield, come on. Against Jasdavicius, I think Jasdavicius is a lot better than people say. Maverick still should have looked a little better. But then you have a performance like Shauna Young where Maverick didn't even look that good. Like, or Julian Robertson, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember that fight. But like, if you really look down all her fights, looked good. I don't remember. She looked fine. Got manhandled, but expected. Her best performance, in my opinion, not a good performance. A horrifyingly bad performance. It's not fucking English. So, like, Maverick has a lot of talent. She's she's a well-rounded fighter. Her striking ain't bad. Her clinch work's really good. Her ground game can be good at times, like this fight. But she's just not been consistent putting it together, and it's very frustrating at times. Like, if I would have picked Maverick in that Jasdavicius fight, I would have been fucking furious. Because she looked terrible. Fuck, I was furious with the Young performance. And she won. So what does that tell you? So, Maverick is still young. She's only, 26? And she's getting a lot of UFC experience really quickly, but she has to start putting it all, like, she was ranked 15th for a while, or she was ranked and unranked, good amount, and now she's in her last 4, 2-2, and her 2 wins are 2 fighters not even in the UFC anymore. Her 2 losses are 2 good fighters. So if she's already hit her ceiling, then that's fine. But it would be nice to actually know that. Because if you told me her ceiling was what she's already done, be ranked at the bottom of the rankings, win some, lose some, and that's that, then fine, I could see it. But I think Maverick's a lot better than that. I think Maverick could be a ranked 15 through 10 fighter, especially at flyweight. And flyweight's a good division, but I think Maverick, like, fuck, to check out the fucking rankings. You're telling me Maverick doesn't give Ujo a fight, Andrea Lee, probably these cans up here. Like, Maverick could give these fighters a fight, but once she gets to this area, she has no chance. So, it's frustrating watching Maverick fight at times, but I do think she is a talented fighter, and it all depends on what Maverick shows up on the night. If it's the Maverick that we saw against Mazza, it's gonna be Maverick should win. But if it's the Maverick that showed up against Jasdavicius, it's gonna be a long night, especially if you picked her. It's gonna be a frustrating night. So that's all I got to say about Miranda Maverick. To talk about her opponent, Cachoeira. I know I'm saying her first name wrong. My bad. Cachoeira in the UFC is 4-4. Her 4 wins: Shana Dobson, Gina Mazzani, Ji-Yeon Kim, and Ariane Lipski. Her 4 losses: Valentina Shevchenko, Molly McCann, Luana Carolina, and Juliana Robertson. To talk about her wins, joke fighter. Amazing fight. Beautiful finish of that stupid bitch. She probably lost. Actually, she did lose this fight, so she's really 3-5. And this was a really good performance. Like, honestly, a really good performance by Cachoeira. And her 4 losses, what do you expect? And that's aging bad. That was bad from the big start. And that fight, even losing Julian is fine, just what she did is worse, makes it worse, so. Yeah, we know we're getting with Cachoeira. Like, the nickname should tell you all you need to know. She's just gonna walk forward and fight. And she does. The Ji-Yeon Kim fight showed that's an amazing fight. Definitely go watch. The wrong person won, but it's an amazing fight. And then against Lipski, the same. She walked Lipski down and finished her in a minute. Cachoeira on the feet is dangerous because she doesn't give a fuck. Like, she really just doesn't care. And now that she's been off for a year because cancellations, and not her fault, completely her fault. And then she got a new opponent, but like, being off for a year of how she fights is a really good thing. Yeah, she is 34 and that damage is adding up slowly. But yeah, the year off is very helpful for someone like her who fights like a fucking psychopath. So, she's not the most skilled fighter at all. Her wrestling is, I don't remember ever seeing her ground game. Offensively, I know Valentina almost killed her. But, yeah, ground game ain't much, but again, striking is what you're worried about with Cachoeira, and yeah, it's fine. She actually seems to have pretty decent power also, so. Yeah, Cachoeira's not a bad fighter, but she's just pretty one-dimensional. I'm going to go in there and fight you. Kind of coincidental that she's on a card with Gaethje, Poirier, because she fits perfect. She's just gonna go in there and fight. So that's Cachoeira. The betting odds for this fight have Miranda Maverick minus 340 to plus 270. I would move Maverick down a little bit, maybe to minus 250 to plus 210. Everything I said about Maverick, I think, is the reason why she's inconsistent. If you told me the Maverick that fought Mazo was showing up, then yeah, she should be minus 400. But after that Vinicius performance, especially being not long, literally a month ago, it's very worrying. Plus, it's not like she took no damage. She took some damage, not a lot, but she definitely took some damage. And going in there damaged against Cachoeira, really risky. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. I think this fight goes one of a few ways. I would say one of three ways. Either Maverick is able to maybe in the clinch beat Cachoeira on the maybe. Let's see, what's the reach? Same, okay. Maybe in the clinch, some elbows, fucking back away, land some punches to a decision. Second way the fight goes, Cachoeira finishes her early. Or the third way it goes, or Cachoeira wins a war, or the third way I think it goes, and the way I think it's going to go, I think Maverick's gonna grind out a decision, wrestling. I don't think it's gonna be a very entertaining fight. I think Maverick's gonna just grind out wrestling, kinda like she did against Shanna Young, if I remember. So, that's what I would that's the game plan I would have if I was Maverick going into this fight, with the skill set she has. So, I think that would be the right approach to go into this fight with. So, yeah, I am gonna go Miranda Maverick to get the win here, wrestling. And even if it is on the feet, clinch, elbows, bloody her up early, maybe get a doctor stoppage like Jojua. You never know, but I do think Maverick should win this fight, and I do think she will. So I'm going to go Miranda Maverick by decision here. Don't get clipped. Don't lose a war. You should be able to get back on track, because you really fucking need it. So, yeah, Miranda Maverick by decision. And I forgot to mention, this is the early prelims. We ain't on the real prelims yet. I know that's stupid, but whatever. To go into our second fight of the night, another fight that had a late notice replacement. Let me check who he stepped in for. Got it. For our second fight of the night, we have a fun welterweight bout between Matt the Jedi Semelsberger versus Uros the Doctor Medic. This was meant to be Matt Semelsberger versus Johan Lanus. Lanus pulls out. Medic steps in. That's why we're here. Let's talk about Matt Semelsberger. I'm a fan of Matt Semelsberger. I think he's a super underrated fighter. He's 5-3 in the UFC. I think he should be more 6-2. His wins: Colton Minus, Jason Witt, Maranzano, AJ Fletcher, Jake Matthews, and I think he got robbed badly against Jeremiah Wells. And then his two losses: Chaos Williams and Alex Morono. To talk about his wins, they're either quick domination or quick finishes, or very good performances. That Matthews performance easily his best in the UFC, and it was just a well-rounded performance. Fletcher, tough kid, took Semelsberger to his limits, but Matt pulled away. His losses: Chaos just was able to beat him on the feet, if I remember. And Morono, veteranship. That was just a lesson for Semelsberger. It was just, he got pretty much taken to school in a way, so yeah, can't really get mad at that performance. And then against Jeremiah Wells in his last fight, he got completely fucking robbed. I don't know how you give Jeremiah Wells a round where he got pretty much knocked out to an extent, because he got fucking put on his ass, couldn't get up, but whatever. So 6-2 in the UFC. Matt's not a bad fighter. He has good striking, powerful, good leg kicks. His wrestling's okay. Wells, I think he only got out wrestled by Wells because Wells is so strong, not because he's a better wrestler. And then Moreno again, well, that's just getting fucking taken to school, so excuse me. Yeah, I'm a fan of Semelsberger. I think he's a very underrated fighter. He's still young, 30 years old, learning that this is only his 17th fucking fight. So, and he's been in the UFC since he was 6-2. So he had no time to prepare, no contender series, no nothing. He literally just got hopped in the UFC and began. He really fought William Knight. What the fuck? And he looked like that. He's had great performances. 2 knockouts in fucking under 20 seconds. Knocking off a good prospect. Destroying Jake Matthews after he added all that hype. Semelsberger's good, man. I'm a fan of Semelsberger. I think he's severely underrated. So, yeah. To talk about his opponent, Uros Medic. Been a while, it feels like, since we've seen Uros. Uros in the UFC is 2-1, coming up to contender series. In the UFC, his 2 wins are Alan Cruz and Omar Morales. His 1 loss is Jalen Turner. For his 2 wins, yeah, he beat 2 shit fighters. Nothing that special about it. And for his 1 loss, he lost to Jalen Turner. You really can't be upset about that. And then he's been off for a while. Middle of last year he fought, and then he's only had 1 fight booked since that he pulled out of, but now he's back. And he's moving up a weight class for this since he stepped in on short notice, so I think that's interesting. That will definitely help him and hurt him at the same time. Yeah, Uros is kind of like a heavyweight. He has gas tank for a couple minutes. He's gonna try and finish you. If that doesn't work, he's gonna lose. Turner fight showed that. Not the most skilled fighter by far, and I think it has, like I said, he could beat 2 cans like these guys, but the second he got in there with Jalen Turner, it was a wrap. He's not an awful fighter. When he's not gassed, his striking is pretty decent, but besides that, his ground game is pretty non-existent, if I'm correct. So yeah, I just really don't think much of Uros, and being off for so long, moving up a weight class, getting more weight on you, which is a blessing and a curse, I feel. So and fighting a tough dude like Semelsberger, I think it's gonna be a very tough night for Medic on short notice, no less. I think this was booked 2 weeks ago, a week or 2 ago, so gonna be interesting. Gonna be an interesting fight. The betting odds for this fight have Matt Semelsberger -140 to +120. Yeah, I agree. He should be a little favorite. This is a battle of very green fighters, but I think one's a lot better than the other. I don't think this is gonna go 15 minutes. These two are, especially in that altitude, someone's gonna gas and probably get dropped. Who am I going with in this fight? I am going Matt Semelsberger. I just think he's better everywhere. Striking, I think he's better. Power, I think he has more of. He has a better gas tank. His ground game's better. He's a smarter fighter. He's fought more recently. He's fought the better guy. Well, no, I take that back. Uros fought Jalen Turner, but Semelsberger's fought overall the better fighters. And I think he's just a better fighter. So I am going to go Matt Semelsberger to win this one. The way I see this going is, I think maybe for the first minute or two it'll be fun, maybe someone gets dropped and all that, but I think 3-4 minutes and Medic is going to start to gas and break, and I think Semelsberger's going to break him. So I'm going to go Matt Semelsberger by knockout in the first. Maybe a body shot or something, maybe, or he clips him like he did, or not clips him, but maybe knocks him dead like he did with Insano. I'm not sure, but I do think Semelsberger will walk away with the W here. Just don't get if he doesn't get clipped, he should walk away for a win here. So, yeah, I'm going Matt Semelsberger by knockout in the first. The first time the altitude and where the fight is making a pretty decent appearance. So, keep that in mind for other fights. And now to go into our last early prelim of the night. We have a fun flyweight bout between CJ Vergara versus Vinicius Fenomeno Salvador. Let's talk about CJ Vergara. CJ in the UFC is 2-2. His 2 wins, Clayton Rodriguez and Daniel Da Silva. I know who you are, you can't hide behind a fake name. And his 2 losses are Ode Osborne and Tatsuro Toya. For his 2 wins, even the Clayton fight, he probably should have lost. But you can't really get mad at that. Clayton's a tough dude. And then I'll talk more about this Laseda fight in a minute. For his 2 official losses, Ode and Tatsuro. Ode was just a bad night for Vergara and a very tough debut. And then he got fed to Tatsuro Toya. What do you really expect? His last fight really showed who CJ was, though. CJ's just a dog. He's not the most skilled fighter. He's not here to show technique. He's here to fight, and God did he. He fought a perfect game plan, really. He let Laseda gas himself out like he always does, and Vergara hopped at the chance to get a finish, and he showed so much heart. It's kind of insane. One of the fights of the year. Like, one of the most insane things you'll ever see, and it was just show CJ Vergara is a fucking animal. Like, just a really good performance. And I think CJ might actually be coming into his own now because he needs to. Like, he flyweight is getting more wide open by the day, and let's see if CJ can wake up and get another nice win, because this would be 2 in a row that you could really get yourself into a nice fight after this. And with how entertaining CJ is, I think this could be an interesting fight and could really help boost CJ. So, yeah. To talk about his opponent, Salvador, a guy I was really high on coming out to Contender Series. I think he looked great against Shannon Ross, but then he had his UFC debut. And again, he had a very weird performance against Victor Altamirano. He looked sluggish. He looked bad. The simplest term to put it, he looked bad. Like, it was a very embarrassing performance, especially picking him. It's a fun fight, but it's just a very disappointing performance. It was not the guy we saw in the Contender Series at all. Like, the guy we saw in Contender Series looked like a great fighter, but the guy we seen against Victor Altamirano is far from. Maybe debut jitters, whatever you want to call it. He really needs to show up this fight, because that debut was very underwhelming. So I think Salvador is a talented fighter, but he really does need to show up this fight, because again, what we saw on Contender Series and what we saw against Victor Altamirano are 2 different people, in my opinion. So, yeah, not much more to say about that besides Salvador needs to wake up. The betting odds for this fight have CJ Vergara minus 170 to plus 145. I'm moving down a little bit, maybe to minus 140 to plus 120 for Salvador. I think CJ should be a low favorite, but not a huge favorite. Salvador could always clip him. Salvador could always catch him in something. You never know. Salvador can just throw the shit, so. But I do think CJ is tough enough to really take whatever Salvador throws at him. So, and I think he's going to be expecting it, because Salvador, he's going to throw some crazy shit, so. Yeah. Who am I going with in this fight? I'm going to go CJ Vergara. I think he should be able to fight smarter. The altitude's going to play a big factor. Salvador does not have a great gas tank. And I think Vergara should be able to fight a pretty smart fight here and get a win. Or another win. Could he get clipped early or something? Of course. But I really don't think he will. I think he should be able to take whatever Salvador throws. Probably not even get hit by it. And then win a decision. Or maybe even catch Salvador or something. So I am going to go CJ Vergara to get the win here. Fight smart, get a win. Not really much to say about it. So let's see what happens. I'm going CJ Vergara by decision. So those are the early prelims. Not bad. This could be a fun fight. This probably won't go 15 minutes, and this should be entertaining. But now we head into the actual prelims, which is not bad. It's not bad. And we begin the actual prelims with a okay fight, which had another cancellation. And this one kind of downgraded the fight big time. And so, let's begin the prelims with Jake the Celtic Kid Matthews versus Darrius Beast Mode Flowers. Let's talk about Jake. This was meant to be Jake Matthews versus Miguel Baeza. Baeza pulled out. Flowers stepped in. Simple as that. Let's talk about Jake Matthews. Jake in the UFC is 11-6. I won't go down his whole UFC career. I'll talk about his last two fights. Really, he became more of a striker. For a long time, he was pretty much a wrestler, or he was a wrestler. But now in his last two fights, he's really become a striker. Against Fialho, he looked amazing. Best performance of his career. Ran through him, knocked him out. Amazing performance. Against Semelsberger, he just got outclassed on the feet. Like, you can tell that he is still learning the ropes of striking. Because Semelsberger is a very green fighter, but even on the feet, Semelsberger is still better than Matthews, because, again, Matthews is still learning. So, I didn't really expect him to, it's kind of a tough task to ask him to go in there with Matt Semelsberger and see how he does. Because going from Fialho to Semelsberger is a big jump up in difficulty, and Jake just couldn't handle it at that time. So, but he's been off for a good amount of time now, probably rounded out the skill set even more, and interested to see how he does. He's not a bad fighter. Again, his wrestling is really good. His striking is getting better, and he's still a young kid, 28 years old. Kid has potential. So, and he's already fought some decent fighters. Like in the UFC alone, he's already fought, let's see. He fought Ubin Mercer, who's a decent fighter. He beat Li Jingliang, for fuck's sake. And Andre Fialho, not a terrible one. And he's lost to a guy like Semelsberger, who's not bad. So, Kevin Lee. He's in a decent competition. None of his wins are against, these no-names. He's not losing to these no-name fighters no one's ever heard of. He's losing to guys you've heard of. The most unknown names, Rocco Martin. And I think most people know that name. So, yeah, Jake's a decent fighter. There's not much more to say. Talk about his opponent, Darrius Flowers. Darrius is making his UFC debut here. He got a contract on Contender Series in a really weird way, but then I think he got cut because he popped or something, but now he's back. So, a really weird set of events, but let's see how he does in his UFC debut. The Contender Series was a really weird performance. I don't think he should have got a contract, because all he did was Gogoladze kind of just hurt himself or got hurt on complete accident, and Flowers got a contract because of it, which is very odd. I really don't get it, but whatever. Whatever. UFC, I guess, saw something, so yeah, not really sure. I've really seen nothing of Flowers, and this is a very tough debut for him. So good luck. It's about the much I'll say. And actually, he's coming off a pretty stacked week of Contender Series. Like, some of the names, like, to have these two alone is pretty big. So yeah, everyone who's got a contract out of the four to make their UFC debut so far has got to win. And so let's see if Flowers can follow in the footsteps of that week of DWCS. So yeah, the betting odds for this fight are not up on Tapology for some reason. I'm pretty sure Jake Matthews is probably like minus 200, probably like 250, 280, which I would agree with. I think he should be about minus 280. He should win this pretty easily, I think. Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be the hardest fight for him. Flowers should not even be here. So, it should not be a hard night in the office for Jake Matthews. So, yeah, it's not very much to say here. I am going to go Jake Matthews, of course. And how am I going to go Jake Matthews? I'm going to go with I'm thinking Jake Matthews submission in a second. I think he goes back to his roots. Maybe later in the fight, after Flowers is gassed, get him to the ground, sub him, rear naked choke or something, and walk away with a win. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jake Matthews by submission in a second. He could finish him on the feet. He could ride him out to a decision, but I feel submission. So Jake Matthews by submission in the second. After that, we head to a fun middleweight bout that probably ain't going 15 minutes. And we got Roman Kopylov versus Claudio Ribeiro. Let's talk about Chase Hooper's big brother, Roman Kopylov. Roman in the UFC is 2-2. His 2 wins, Punahele Soriano and Alessio Di Chirico. His 2 losses, Carl Robertson and Albert Dorayev. For his 2 wins, I've not been impressed with him. Yeah, you beat Di Chirico, but he sucks. And Puna, I don't know how to feel about Puna. So. And his 2 losses, Durayev, that's not aging too well. Now the domination. And Carl Robertson? Really? You lost to Carl Robertson? That's fucking pathetic. I've just not been impressed with Kopylov. Like, he's not a terrible fighter. Like, again, that Puna performance was not terrible. But I'm just not impressed with him. His striking's alright. His ground game is fine, but I'm just not really impressed with him, to be honest. And you beat Chirico and Puna, and then you lost to Carl Robertson. There's some problems there. So, I don't know. Maybe he can make me look stupid again, but I'm just not really impressed with him. So, I've just never really been impressed with Kopylov. That's really all I gotta say about him. His striking's he's a fun fighter at least. He's just not really that good in my opinion. He's not terrible, but he's not great. So yeah. To talk about his opponent, Claudio Ribeiro. Claudio in the UFC is 1-1. His 1 win is Joseph Holmes, and his 1 loss is Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Coming off the Contender Series, he looked pretty good. 25-second great knockout. Then he made his UFC debut against Abdul Razak. And it was a tough debut, as you would expect when you're fighting Abdul Razak Al Hassan. And yeah, Abdul went in there with a smart game plan and completely shut everything Ribeiro had down. He won after wrestling game plan, shut Ribeiro down, and then on the feet, it's Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So he just knocked you out. So, but Ribeiro bounced back pretty well and looked okay against Joseph Holmes. Holmes had his moments, but overall Ribeiro was able to get the finish when he in the second. And yeah, at least he beat a guy like Joseph Holmes, as you should. Yeah, Ribeiro's not the most talented fighter, to be honest. He's very one-dimensional. I'm gonna, for the first couple minutes, I'm pretty scary. But the second that gas tank starts to wear down, I'm done. So, yeah. And this is his third fight this year, so that it's starting to probably weigh on him big time. So, Ribeiro is a fun fighter, just not the most skilled. If it becomes a skill fight, he's gonna lose. Look at the ARA fight. So, yeah. The betting odds for this fight have Roman and Kopylov minus 230 to plus 190. I really don't see it. I would probably have Kopylov a small favorite, like minus 125, 130 to plus 110. He is more technically skilled, but I kind of count out Ribeiro's here, because one good punch and you are going night-night. So, tough fight to predict, because it's one of those fights where at any second it could end. So, you're kind of like, who do I trust more in a fight like that? If we're talking like a fight like that, I'm trusting Ribeiro. But if we're talking about a technical fight, I'm going Kopylov. It's kind of a hard fight to predict, to be honest. It really could go either way, just because either or could knock the other out. Which way am I going, though? I'm leaning Claudio Ribeiro. I think he will be able to clip that chin of Kopylov and finish him early. If we start hitting the 4-minute mark, the end of the first, I'm going to be sweating bullets like Ribeiro, because his gas tank's probably going to be empty. But in those first 2 minutes, I think he can do it. So I'm going to go Claudio Ribeiro by knockout in the first. I think he can clip that chin of Kopylov and get the upset win. So I'm going to go Claudio Ribeiro by knockout in the first. This pick is definitely my least confident so far, so let's see what happens. Ribeiro by knockout in the first. After that, we hit the first of our big 6 fights, and we have a fun one here. Of course, when you see one of these guys on the card, you're gonna have a fun one. And we begin our big 6 with something that a fight that somehow ain't a featured prelim, by the way. We have Derrick, the Black Beast Lewis versus Marcos Rodrigo Pezao de Lima. Banger fight. Let's talk about Derrick Lewis a little bit. Ray don't got anything to say about Derrick Lewis. We know Derrick Lewis. If he's either gonna knock you out or you're gonna knock him out. To talk about his last couple fights, I think these are the main ones to talk about. He's looked awful. Against Ty, he did not look very good. Against Pavlovich, he looked terrible. Against Spivak, he showed up for a paycheck. You cannot tell me otherwise. Like, and can you really get mad at these 2 losses? Spivak and Pavlovich are really good fighters. But, like, this was a bad stoppage. I'll give him that. But still, Pavlovich pretty much clearly destroyed him. This was just a joke of a performance. He just got taken down. No resiliency. And subbed. He gave up. Like, he is a pro quitter. I'll give Derrick Lewis that. He's a pro quitter. Like, look at the Sorogan fight. He quit. He quit versus Spivak. Like, he does quit at times. His gas tank's pathetic. And all he does is try and knock you out. What was the last fucking decision he won? Like, geez. Then 2020 against Latifi and Ivanov. Jesus. Excuse me. So, like, I don't know, he's never been the most skilled fighter, and he's always been a quitter. So that's kind of sad to see, but he somehow has a knockout record, which is fucking insane. If he touches you, you're gonna go down, he just quits on himself. So, I don't know, that's Derrick Lewis. To talk about his opponent, the Lima, a dude who might be a little less known to the casual eye. The Lima's fucking hitting his stride like a motherfucker. Dude is 38, looking better than ever. He should be on a 5-fight winning streak. He got Rod versus Blagoy, and he's looking better than ever. Like, before the green fight, he was literally known for being win-loss. And he was just not very good, but ever since he's just flipped a switch since the green fight, and he's looked amazing. He completely controlled Green for 15 minutes. He ran through Roswell. He beat Blagoy. He ran through Arlovsky, and he ended Waldo and his fucking on his O in pretty dominant fashion. The dude's looking better than ever at 38 years old. And a dude who, again, before the green fight, I remember breaking down his fight. And I remember just thinking, yeah, it's the Lima. He's not very, I thought he's like, for a while he was just like Parker Porter, Jay Carter. He's gonna win, he's gonna lose. It's heavyweight, that's that. But now he's really making himself a name, and if he wins this, that'd be 6 in a row, and he's getting ranked at 38 years old. And it's not like he's getting these fluke wins. Yeah, are they great wins? No. Ben Roswell, Marcus Green, Andrei Arlovsky, Blagoy, no. Waldo's not even a good win. Derrick Lewis won't be a good win, but that's just the state of heavyweight. No one's that good. So, I would say like 5 guys. No burgers and fries. So, it's the weirdest shit I ever see a dude hit his prime at 38 like you're Tony Ferguson. It's fucking weird. So, yeah. The betting odds for this fight have DeLima minus 130 to plus 110. I disagree. DeLima should be minus 200, 300. He's gonna win this fight, and it's sad. He's gonna win this fight easily. He's either gonna clip Lewis or he's gonna take him down. He should just take him down, and it's gonna work. So, it's sad to see, but yeah, DeLima's gonna win. But, yeah, dude, this is fucking... DeLima's gonna win. People stop being biased. But, to be honest with you, I'm gonna pick Derrick Lewis. Out of pure bias alone, I can't not pick the Black Beast. I gotta pick him, and I'm gonna pick him. I'm going Derrick Lewis by knockout in the first. It always could happen, but I highly doubt it. I think Pays Out's gonna walk away with the W here, but biasedly, I'm picking Derrick Lewis, so... Let's get a W, Black Beast. Hey, fuck, get the knockout and retire. No more fights. Please. Can't handle you losing another one. So, Derrick Lewis by knockout in the first. And to end the prelim portion of the card, with a fight that should not be the featured prelim, the last fight should be the featured prelim, as we have Trevin the Problem Giles versus Gabriel Bonfim. Not gonna waste your time on this. Bonfim's gonna run through Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles is garbage. Gabriel has to get the Bonfim name back on track, and I think he's going to. Giles is a fucking Giles is an easier fight than Lazzez, and we saw how easy Lazzez was to beat for Bonfim, so this is gonna be the easiest win of Bonfim's career. Giles just ain't good. So, yeah, it's just really not much to say. Bonfim's just levels above Trevin Giles, so... Yeah, so my lock of the night this week is Gabriel Bonfim. And I'm going Bonfim by knockout in the first. He's either going to knock him out or he's going to submit him. So, yeah, not much to say. Gabriel Bonfim by knockout in the first. Not really much else to say. It's just not worth breaking down when it's the easiest fight on the card. So, yeah. That's that. So, boom. Those are the prelims. Fun prelims overall. Like I said, you got 3 fun fights here. 2 fights that should not go 15 minutes here. Derrick Lewis on the prelims, no less. And then Bonfim should get a quick finish. So, really fun prelims. And now we head into a main card that is beyond stacked. Like, could you... This looks like one of those matchmaker cards someone made, pretty much. You'd have someone better fighting Kevin Holland, but that's besides the point. These other 4 fights are insane. So, this pay-per-view, like, if there was a real title on the line, let's say the light heavyweight bout here, this pay-per-view could actually make a case for buying, because this shit's really fucking good. And let's stop talking about it like that. Let's break it down. And we begin this stacked pay-per-view with a fun welterweight bout between Michael the Maverick Chiesa versus Kevin Big Mouse Trailblazer Superhero Holland. This is gonna be fun. Let's talk about Michael Chiesa. Chiesa in the UFC is 11-6, and it's been a while since we've seen him. He's been off for over a year. I've been off for almost 2 years now. Not fought since the end of 2021. No fights in 2022. And then he was meant to come back earlier this year against the Leech, but the Leech pulled out, and now Chiesa's back fighting Holland. Chiesa's had a very up and down UFC career. He's had his moments. He's got some wins, some nice wins. Ally Quinta, Francisco Trinaldo, Jim Miller, Carlos Condit, RDA. He's got nice ones, but he always loses before he gets a lot of win streaks going. He never really wins a fight and then loses immediately. He gets a win streak going, but he always loses to Masvidal, Lozon, Kevin Lee, Anthony Pettis, Luque. So it's just he always gets so close to like a nice winning streak that you can make a case for something, but then he blows it. So Chiesa's a pretty one-dimensional fighter. Either he's gonna sub you on the ground, out wrestle you on the ground, I should say, or you're gonna fucking beat him on the feet. He can't strike. He's a dog shit striker. Like, he's just a terrible striker. Like, he's dangerous on the ground. You don't want to be on the ground with him, but on your feet, you want to be on the feet with him as much as possible. He's a dog shit striker. So, and in his last, like, to talk about his last couple fights, I'll talk about from the start. He had a nice win streak going on here. Condit, he dominated. He dominated Diego Sanchez. Good win against RDA. Domination against Neil Magny, which set him up for a really big fight against Vicente Luque, and he choked it. Got tapped. And then he turns around very quickly to fight Sean Brady, and he loses, even though we all know that fight was another round or two. Guess who would have won? Brady just was able to steal the first 2 rounds. And I think, really looking back on that fight, really showed that Chiesa is starting to get old and get washed up, because even I think Chiesa should easily, like, in hindsight, looking at Sean Brady now, Chiesa should easily beat him, even with his lack of skill outside the ground, but he got beat. So it's weird, very weird. Like, Chiesa ain't a bad fighter. Like I said, you don't want to be on the ground with him, but you want to be on the feet with him because he's such a bad striker. So, and this long, almost 2-year layoff, that rust is going to be a pain to knock off against a guy like Kevin Holland. So, yeah. But now let's talk about the Trailblazer superhero, Kevin Holland. Holland is 11-6-1 in UFC. Talk about the most recent fights. I'll talk about since his welterweight move up. Since he's moved up to welterweight, he is 3-2. His wins, Alex Oliveira and Tim Means, those are good first 2 wins in the division. Tough veterans, and he looked really good. Then he met Hamzat. What obviously happened was gonna happen. Then he had that banger with Wonder Boy, and he would have probably won that if he fought smarter, but he fought stupid and for fun. And then he looked good again. He looked good against Ponzinibbio. He pretty much won. He had that fight in the bag, and he still got the finish. So yeah, he's looking good. Holland's a good fighter. He's more than just a character. He's a good fighter. His striking's very fluid. He's had weird performances. That Wonder Boy performance, he fought stupid and it was a weird performance. But then, like, Tim Means, he looked great. Ponzinibbio, he looked great. Oliveira, there's a moment or two. And then I want to talk about middleweight, because, like, he was just so outsized, and all he did was get wrestled, so... I don't know what really to say about Kevin Holland. We know what we're getting with Kevin Holland by now. A dude who is not bad on the ground, and a dude who can strike really well. So, yeah, really not much more to say about the Trailblazer besides he's just Kevin Holland. Like, it's really just not much more to say. So, yeah, Kevin Holland. The betting odds for this fight have Kevin Holland minus 150 to plus 130. I would move Holland up to minus 190. Your only worry in this fight is Chiesa getting it to the ground. Chiesa's not gonna strike with Holland because he's gonna get knocked out, and he's gonna shoot takedowns like a motherfucker, because that's all he's gonna be able to do. Because like on the feet, he's gonna get picked apart. So I really don't see Holland. The only thing I worry about Holland is if he gets taken to the ground, can he get up, or does he make a rookie mistake and give up his neck? If he does that, then of course he lost. But if that doesn't happen, he should easily win this fight. Chiesa ain't that good of a fighter. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Kevin Holland to win this fight, obviously. He should get the win here. We're not rocket science. And I'm gonna go Kevin Holland by knockout in the second. I think Chiesa will probably just try and grind on Holland in the first round, but then I think Holland's going to start getting frustrated and finally just break that chin and send him to the Shadow Realm. So, yeah, I'm going Kevin Holland by knockout in the second. Should be a great way to open the main card. So, yeah, not much more to say about that fight. Holland by knockout in the second. Now we get to the crazy shit on this card. And in this fight, I cannot fucking wait for. Even if our boy loses, I still can't wait for this fight. Cause this is the fight I'm most hyped for on the card, just cause it's one time. It's Tony time, bitch. As we have El Cachoeira, Tony Ferguson versus Bobby King Green. Do I really need to do a breakdown of either of these fighters? We all know Tony Ferguson. We all know Tony Ferguson's losing streak now. We all know Tony Ferguson should retire. Yeah, Tony should have retired by now. That Nate fight was embarrassing. If you really look at these 5 losses, Gaethje had his moments, but you gotta give Tony benefit of the doubt. Pandemic, this, that, and the other thing. Fine. Charles just took him apart, but Neil just laid on him, let's be honest. Tony looked good. Tony looked good until he didn't. And then Nate was just fucking a terrible performance. So, it's really, age has caught up to El Cachoeira. Even if trust me, I would love to believe that he's that, and I would love to believe what he believes. He's just hitting his prime or whatever. No, he's washed badly. And I don't want to see him fight again to an extent, because I don't want to see I don't want to see this dude that everyone loves get beat up again. But bare minimum, at least it's against Bobby Green, who we also all love, because at least it's not someone like fucking Patty Pimblett. And that's not even a joke. So, Tony, don't get beat up too bad. And then talk about Bobby Green. What do I say? It's Bobby Green. We know what we're getting with Bobby Green. He's going to fight like Bobby Green. So I can't break down this fight, because it's just this fight is literally fan service. That's the best way to describe it. It's, as much as we don't want to see it because we know who's gonna win, it's fan service, and it's great. So I love it. I can't wait for it. The betting odds are correct. Bobby Green's gonna win, but no matter what, I have to pick El Cucuy. I picked him against Nate, and I'll keep picking him every time he gets in that octagon. I'm going Tony Ferguson by decision. Please, Tony, don't. If you win, please retire. Please, we are all begging you. If you win, retire. Please. Tony time, bitches. Tony by decision. Please. After that, we head to another banger, but that's every fight on this main card, as we head to welterweight again for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michel Demo Ildor Pierre. I'm not gonna break down Wonderboy. We know what we're getting with Wonderboy by now. To talk about the last couple fights, yeah, he was wrestled pretty badly, but then he looked great again against Holland, and all the Holland fights showed is he might be getting up there in like washed territory, but he can still strike. So he can still go. He's still Wonderboy. So yeah, I really don't need, like, the only bad thing about Wonderboy's game is his takedown defense, and his just wrestling in general is terrible. So yeah, right now much to say there. But to talk about the opponent, Michel Pereira, the lesser known fighter of the two. Michel in the UFC is 6-2. His wins are Danny Roberts, that guy, Chaos Williams, Nico Price, Andre Fialho, and Santiago Ponzinibbio. His two losses are Tristan Connolly and Diego Sanchez, but he won that fight, so really he's 7-1. So yeah, and if we're being honest, he only lost to Connolly because he fought like a fucking idiot. Like, to talk about his early, I won't even waste my time talking about these fights. I'll talk about his last 4 fights. He's fought smart now, and him fighting smart has made him a great fighter. Chaos, he fought smart. Nico Price, that was a war. Fialho, he fought smart and won. Ponzinibbio, close fight he could have lost. And he's been off for over a year now, which could be good or bad, depending on how you want to look at it. Pereira, it's weird to predict Michel Pereira because you don't know what he's in. If he goes in there with a wrestling game plan, it's going to be interesting. If he goes in there trying to fight like Michel Pereira, it's going to be interesting in a bad way. This fight, I think, is the toughest fight on the main card to predict because, yeah, Wonderboy is 40, but Pereira fights like Pereira. So it's kind of like, where the fuck do I lie in this one? I'm not gonna lie, I have been stuck on this one all week, but after I really saw about it, the deciding factor for me in this fight was this. Where it is, I think, is going to fucking ruin Michel Pereira. Especially if he does that backflip bullshit. Dude, he's gonna gas so quick, it's sickening. So that was the side. I was probably gonna lean Pereira. If this fight was anywhere with normal altitude, then I probably would go Michel Pereira. But since this is in fucking Utah, high ass altitude, I have to go Wonderboy. I have to go Wonderboy. Wonder Boy has a good gas tank. He'll be able to go 15 minutes, not look that bad. He can still strike with the best of them. I think he can get a win here, and continue being one of the best welterweights in the world somehow at 40. So, yeah, not very much more to say. The betting odds, Wonder Boy almost minus 200. I don't agree. I'd move Wonder Boy down to minus 150 to plus 130. Basic line, the low key, like, could Pereira catch Wonder Boy with something, or maybe he doesn't gas too badly, but I highly doubt it, so. Or he goes in with a wrestling game plan, you gotta keep that in mind. But overall, I'm gonna lean Wonder Boy here. It's hard not to with that altitude and knowing Pereira's gas tank, so. Yeah, I'm gonna go Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson by decision. Not much more to say. After that, we head to light heavyweight for the co-main event of the evening. A fight that should be for the vacant light heavyweight championship, but it's not, whatever. Winner fights Yuri Prochazka, as we have Jan Błachowicz versus Alex Poatan Pierre. I'm not going to break down either of these two, you know them. And so let's just get to the nitty gritty. Jan, 40 years old, still kicking and looking decent, which is insane. He very close fight with Ankalaev, beat Rochik, fucking Glover, he looked awful, but beat Izzy, beat Reyes. Dude can still go, but that age is going to catch up to him eventually, and I think it did against Glover. But then he looked good against Rochik, and he looked fine against Ankalaev. So, he still has that power, of course. He's a good wrestler still. He's Jan Błachowicz. He can still go. He's not age ain't beating him yet. To talk about Alex Pereira, he's moving up to light heavyweight, which I think is beyond well needed. That cut to middleweight killed him. Made his chin weaker. It was probably fucking killing his body. And I think this is the right move. He's not cutting nearly as much weight. And I think it's a big help for him. And if we're actually being honest now, yes, that Izzy loss is a bad look, but if he didn't fight, if he won under cocky, which was stupid on his part, he was winning that fight pretty easily, and he would have won again if he didn't fucking have no respect for Izzy, which was stupid. So, and people need to stop calling Pereira a fraud or anything. Like, when he won the belt, people said he's the worst champion ever. Dude, I feel like people are really forgetting who Alex Pereira is. Alex fucking Pereira, maybe the best striker in one of the best strikers in the heavier weight classes, trains with Glover fucking Cachoeira, power out the fucking ass. Like, dude, we're talking about Poatan, we're talking about Izzy's daddy. Why are you people fucking so hell-bent on counting this man out and shitting on him? All he does is shut up and fight. He does not talk shit. He just gets in there and does talking with his knees and elbows and punches. And he's scary as shit, to be honest. So, yeah, he was a complete weight bully, but now he's not. He's fighting at his weight class. So, what do you want him to do? Fuck. The betting odds for this fight are near even. They should be a pick'em. This fight could go many ways. Of course, it could end on a knockout on either side, or the other way it could end. Well, not end, but go is Jan just goes for a wrestling game plan, which would be his smartest thing. But I feel like, again, people forget A, Alex Pereira is strong as shit, probably. B, he trains with Glover Cachoeira, which also fighting Jan Błachowicz is very useful. So, I don't know why people are trying to count out Pereira so bad when, to be honest, this is a very favorable matchup. This is one probably the more favorable matchups in the top 5 for him, because let's compare to Ankalaev, a pain of a matchup. Like, Yuri would be a fucking pain just because he's Yuri. Fucking, who else is ranked in that shitty division? Jamal Hill would not be that hard of a matchup. But, like, even someone like Nikita Krylov might be a little bit of pain because that ground game. Or someone like that, because, like, that ground game, like, is Pierre's ground game not the strongest? Yes. But, again, he trains Glover Cachoeira. Calm down. So, yeah. Who am I going with in this fight? Polish power or scary power? I'm going Poatan. I think Poatan's going to show that he is still Poatan. He is a great fighter. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not a fluke artist. He's not this. He's not that. That Izzy fight with that Izzy loss is a fluke. We all know it. And I think he's going to show that. My biggest worry is, does Jan go for wrestling game plan? If so, then we might be talking different. But if Jan tries to strike with Alex, he's getting knocked out. Let's be honest now. He better pray he can crack Alex's chin, because if he can't, good night, Jan. You're gonna take a long nap. So, my pick for this fight is Alex Pereira by knockout in the first. Flying knee, uppercut, whatever the fuck. Knockout in the first. Alex Pereira. Poatan versus Yuri. Book it. And now we end the night with the fight of the year contender banger for the BMF belt, which is meaningless. I'm not going to waste much time on this fight. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Do I need to break down this fight? They are going to go to war till someone drops. I don't know who that someone's going to even be. I can't fucking wait for this fight. This is going to be the fight of the year. It might honestly just steal the fight of the year. We might be putting this fight in the Hall of Fame ASAP. This fight's going to be fucking mental. For 25 minutes or less, they're going to stand, trade, and see who fucking drops. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait. The only thing I gotta say about this fight really is these betting odds are off. It should be a pick'em. How could you really pick a side? The only reason Dustin's a favorite because he won the first fight. Let's be honest. If he didn't win the first fight, if this was their first time fighting, it would be a pick'em. I feel like people are putting a lot of weight into Dustin's first win. I feel like people are putting a lot of weight into the first fight, even though that's a green, not as good Justin Gaethje, which I think you gotta keep in mind. So, you could really pick either side here, and I don't think you would be wrong. I think you could really pick any side of the coin here. If you're Team Dustin, I see why. If you're Team Justin, I see why. Another big factor I want to point out is this. Gaethje trains in high altitude, and he's he's already not human as is. He already trains in super duper high fucking altitude. So, he's used to this shit. Poirier probably went down here and trained early, but if he didn't, he's kind of fucking himself big time. So, I don't know. I can't wait for this fight. What I will tell you is what team am I on? I'm Team Highlight. Team Gaethje. I think he's gonna get his revenge, get that BMF belt, and then see what happens. I'm Team Gaethje. I'm not sure how I'm gonna pick Gaethje to win. Is that even fucking necessary right now? Who cares? I'm Team Gaethje. I can't wait for this fight. This is gonna be amazing. I can't wait. Team Gaethje, baby. Let's go. Well, boom. That's the card to cover my picks. One more time. Here we go. Miranda Maverick by decision. Matt Semelsberger by knockout in the first. CJ Vergara by decision. Jake Matthews by submission in the second. Claudio Ribeiro by knockout in the first. Derrick Lewis by knockout in the first. Gabriel Bonfim, lock of the night by knockout in the first. Kevin Holland by knockout in the second. Tony Ferguson by decision. Stephen Thompson by decision. Alex Pereira by knockout in the first. And Team Gaethje. Don't know what I'm going to pick him to win by yet. We'll see. But boom, that's the card. I can't wait for this. The fact that we have Poirier, Gaethje, Pereira, Błachowicz, Wonderboy, Pereira, Green, Ferguson, Holland, Lewis, all on the same card is insane. Imagine this card had a real title fight. Lord. But whatever. I can't wait for this card. This is an amazing card. Great way to end July, and I can't wait. So, yeah, right now, much more to say, guys. Unless I'm forgetting something to say, please like, comment, sub. Tell me your picks. Tell me what you think of the card. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me anything. I hope you enjoyed the video. And you'll hear from me Sunday, 1 p.m. EST for a recap of this card. You'll hear from me next week for a breakdown of for a breakdown of UFC Nashville. And then a recap that Sunday. So, yeah. We got the schedule lined up for a while still, every Friday and Sunday, mainly. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, sub, 100 subs go by the end of the year. And as always, sorry if that was loud, RX out. It's Tony time, bitches.